Hi there. What's the last book you have read? What the last book you have read? So another one. Okay, let's go. Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. What's the last book you have read? We are curious what people in Brighton have to say about it, so we went to the streets to ask them.
I haven't read a book in a long time.
Yeah, I read Swimming in the Dark.
Swimming in the Dark.
Yes, it was about a boy that grew up in Poland during communism, and he was gay, and it was his way out.
The last book I read was called The Ruin.
Ruin?
Yeah.
So what was it about?
It was a crime thriller set in Ireland, in Galway, and yeah, it was really good.
A recent book I had was Atomic Habits,
Okay.
which was, I think, a life-changing one. Yeah. So that's the
Can you
new one.
just share maybe a little bit about the book, like what it is about?
Oh, I think it teaches you. It just changed some of the habits we all have, and also I think you learn some consistency with it. Obviously, if you apply the theories that it teaches you. So I think it has been really good in terms of creating a schedule of good habits, and obviously it shows you how to have a gradual change of positive habits. So I think it's been a really good book, and I enjoyed really reading it.
James and the Giant Peach.
Okay, what was it about, just briefly?
It was about a big giant peach.
Okay. And how did it impact your life or your mindset maybe?
Just made me feel good about myself.
The last book I read was an audiobook, which is mostly what I read now. And it was Hank Green's second book. I can't remember what it's called. The first one's an absolutely remarkable thing. This was the second one. And it was very good.
Can you tell us briefly, like, what was the book about?
It's about aliens and social media, and sort of being an influencer and trying to decide what responsibility that gives you, but then also at a time of crisis when there are aliens coming peacefully invading or not invading. Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I read how to can't remember exact title. How to part company with your phone.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, how to get rid of your phone, how it's affecting people's lives, how it's affecting people's mentality.
That's cool.
And it was a whole book about why you should part company with your phone. That's the last one I read.
So Man's Search for Meaning, I think it's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's about a psychiatrist who was in a concentration camp, I think it was in Auschwitz. It's about him trying to find meaning in even the darkest of situations.
Okay.
The last book I read was called If You Don't Know Me By Now by Sathnam Sanghera.
Okay.
He's a journalist.
Can you tell us briefly what is the book about?
Yeah, he comes from a Sikh background, and he was brought up in Wolverhampton, and it's about his family history. And there was schizophrenia in the family. His father and sister had schizophrenia, and he didn't know this until he was in his 20s. And it's about his life with his mother, how she copes. So it's very good autobiography.
The last book I read is called Breath, and it's about the how we breathe, and focuses on not breathing through your mouth but breathing through your nose, and how that's been really influential on me actually.
I think Catch-22 is a good one.
Can you tell us briefly what was it about? Like in general
It's
idea
about
of
the
futility
of war.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a good one.
I was reading a book by a guy called Abir Mukherjee.
Okay. Can you tell us briefly, like, what the content?
Yeah, it's set in India in the 1920s.
Okay.
And it's follows an English policeman who's got an Indian sergeant working with him, solving a murder case.
Okay, that's great.
What was the Matthew Perry's autobiography?
Can you tell us briefly what is the book about?
It's just about his life, about I've got chocolate in my tea. About his life and about his addiction.
The last book I read was the Seven Wives of Hugo something or other. I can't even remember the title.
Maybe just any general idea of what was it about?
It was a fictional story which my daughter gave me about a woman who'd had 7 husbands through her life and was dying on her deathbed, and she talked about her history.
It's talking about lyrics from Hong Kong, because I'm from Hong Kong, and they talk about the meaning behind it, and also like in the past, like the lyricist, how he got interested in writing lyrics into Cantonese pop songs, and that's how what the book's about.
How it's called in Chinese? Maybe we'll just try to Google it and check the translation. How it's called in Chinese?
It's called Bigan Deko in Cantonese, basically.
R.D. Laing, the politics of experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly tell us what it is about, like general idea of the book?
It's about sort of mental health and people with schizophrenia and different ways of treating them and dealing with them. It's by a psychiatrist from the 60s.
I'm reading a book called Edible Economics. So it's about, I think, an economic professor using food to discuss general economic topics.
I can't remember the name of the book. Billy Connolly,
It is the
comedian.
Okay. So what general idea? What is the book about?
It's he's a well-known, famous comedian, and it was basically him retelling his stories of his life and just a comedy thing, really,
So
but true.
So there's a lot of fun and love.
All the way.
It's The Bee Sting.
Okay. Can you just share with us what the general idea of?
Irish novel about families.
Okay.
And how,
Irish families.
Any families, but it was set in Ireland.
But no bees.
No bees, no. There
It's
wasn't.
called The
Yeah.
Bees.
Is there any book which had some impact on your life? Maybe somehow affected your mindset?
No, I wouldn't say a book. I think my mom
Okay.
impacted my life.
That's great.
more.
That's great. That's the best, I think.
Yeah.
I read this great book called Being Mortal, and it's a true life written by a doctor in the US, and it's all about hospice care and how we don't look into, doctors are trained to keep people alive, not to help with the passing of when we're about to die, and how to make people comfortable. I would recommend everyone read that.
How I found freedom in the unfree world.
That's the name of the book.
Yeah, and it's by, I can't remember his name now, a very famous guy. You'll find it on the internet.
Okay.
It tells you about how you should treat attitude, how your attitude to people should be that you can't change anything. You can only change yourself.
Okay.
And now that affects you. Once you understand that, you realise you can't change your wife. If you want to change somebody, wives will shout at you all day long, give up drinking, he still drinks. They never change. So that was a very good book. That affected my life.
Yeah, there was a book. What was it? I'm trying to think of what it's called now. Sapien. It's called Sapien.
Is it by
Yeah.
Harari?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And that was like a beautiful history of what it is to be human.
Any book you can recall which maybe had some impact on your life or your mindset, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Nice.
Mr. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds interesting. What's the book about?
It's about a guy who smuggles cannabis.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I think he distributed 80% of the cannabis globally.
Oh, okay.
And he's an English guy. Really, really interesting book.
The book that I've just read is quite impactful. It's a non-fiction book called Food for Life by Tim Spector, and it's talking about the types of food that we should eat and the health benefits of them for a healthy gut.
The other one is quite good. It's called The Myth of Normal. It's about healing and trauma in the world we live in, and how people can.
Is it from a British author?
A Canadian.
Canadian. Okay.
Yeah. So it's about kind of how different experiences affect us in life and how we can overcome that trauma that might have affected us. Yeah.
I read The Salt Path, and The Salt Path is by Ray Winnow, and it's a real life amazing story about a couple who hit on hard times, and they have to sleep in tents all the way along the South Coast Path. It's fantastic, and you've got to always cherish what you've got in your life and take nothing for granted.
The book I probably had the biggest impact to me was The Road by Cormac McCarthy.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a good change. It's very dark. It's very disturbing,
really?
but it left the impact as in it took a long time for
I see. Yeah,
have
sometimes
that feeling move on.
Sometimes dark stories can have a more significant impact on us.
Yeah. It's kind of like seeing a horror film. It's scary, but you kind of enjoy the adrenaline, you know.
I think Lord of the Rings, which I read when I was about 16.
The classics.
The
okay.
classic.
Okay.
And I thought it was wonderful. I've never forgotten it.
That's great.
So,
Thanks a lot for your time.
You're
sir.
most welcome.
Have a lovely day.